now listening to Tuff Tiger Talk Flash Report.
All right, shout out to the fam, man. How about that, man? LSU gets a win. They actually got the damn win. Big ups to LSU, man. It was looking kind of rocky at first, man. It was looking kind of shaky at first, and then Garrett Nussmeier, I mean, that was the biggest change right there. There was a spark, too. You got to give the wide receiver his credit for the great return. Aaron Anderson with a terrific return. While Garrett Nussmeier got knocked out of that thing, he returned it like 100 yards. First return in 4 years that we've seen LSU had. And it was just, man, what can I tell you? It was a very good win by LSU. It does help us here. It finished the year, the regular season, 8-4, 5-3 in conference play. And of course, with the regular season over with, LSU will now wait to see what bowl it will get. So I'll give you guys an opportunity to kind of think about which BS bowl the Tigers will get. I've heard all kind of suggestions. I've heard everything from it's just different stuff going on. But anyway, shout out to you guys on this this Tough Tiger Talk post-game recap. LSU beats up on Oklahoma. They just took it away from 37-17, special teams, defense. And then when Nussmeier got knocked out of the game, boy, he kind of turned it on, didn't he? He let it all hang out on the back end of that thing, man. So a good win by LSU. Being able to knock off the Sooners. And the Sooners were trying to get something going with the quarterback, Arnold. All the offense was trying to flow through him. LSU did a good job of adjusting to the speedy quarterback and what they were doing. And that's not like kind of look at this matchup and say, it's a win. This team really, they handled Alabama last week. They really did. And it was a good collective win. Let's just say it like that. I'm trying to struggle to find a word to describe it, but it was a good collective win for the LSU Tigers. So anyway, big ups to you guys. Appreciate you being in the live. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as we kind of cover this latest win. And this is the season finale, regular season finale for the Tigers. And like I said, it was a very solid win by LSU against a credible foe. I mean, give Oklahoma their credit. They took care of business last week, and they came in here. At first, they gave us a bit of a scare early on. And then, LSU just took it away from their ass. And that's all it was to it. They just manned up. And Nussmeier and the team, the defense stepped up. They had a good performance, too. But anyway, let's hit some of the team statistics in this matchup. LSU finished with 18 first downs versus 17 by Oklahoma. Third down, 6 of 15. They were 2 of 2 on fourth down. Oklahoma 4 of 11. 395 yards of total offense by LSU versus 277. You look at the passing attack, 285 versus 110, advantage LSU. The rushing attack, LSU had 110 yards off of 29 carries for 4 yards average. 167 rushing yards by OU off of 37 attempts. That's 4.5 rush average. 75 of that came from Arnold, the quarterback, just scrambling around trying to make something happen. Only one penalty for Oklahoma. LSU had 6 of them for 46 yards in the matchup. Both teams turned the ball over. The time of possession was basically the same. LSU's 30 minutes to 33 seconds versus 29 minutes, 27 seconds by the Sooners. And like I said, it was really a one-man operation if you think about what was going on with the Sooners. And soon as LSU recognized that and shut that spigot off, that was over with. But Garrett Nussmeier finished 22 of 31, give him credit, gets knocked out of the game, slammed down, comes back, and just starts attacking downfield. 22 of 31, 277, 9 yards average per throw, 3 touchdowns in the game. We did see A.J. Swine come in there. He looked terrible, in short action, 1 of 3 for 8 yards. But Caden Durham continued his strong performance. He had 11 carries for 80 yards, 7.3 yards per average. Josh Williams got 13 for 31 for 2.4 there as well. Chris Hilton woke up in this matchup. He had two big catches. He only caught two passes, but they were both for touchdowns. Two catches, 85 yards, two touchdowns. He averaged 42.5 yards per catch. And then Pipton, the big tight end, got involved. He had two for 53. Kyron Lacey, three catches for 41 yards. He got a touchdown going in the game. Caden also had four catches for 32 yards. Mason Taylor, 3 for 28. CJ Daniels, 3 for 24. So they had to kind of spread the ball around there. And how about Whit Weeks, man? You know, we lose Harold Perkins, and I'm like, damn, what we gonna do? But Whit Weeks, man, boy, we done found somebody phenomenal. Whit Weeks, second in the SEC in tackles, I want to say. The first or second, I forgot. But the guy had 15 goddamn tackles tonight in a sack. He had a couple of them. This guy it's going to be phenomenal for LSU coming up. And then, of course, all of his brothers. Well, they're all welcome to LSU if they could play like Whit Weeks, man. 15 tackles tonight, 9 of which was solo. He had a sack. Leading LSU's defense, he was everywhere. Of course, Keys had 10 tackles as well to go around with his sack. Greg Penn had 9, 8 for Dart and Gilbert in the matchup, and LSU did get about 4 sacks on the team. They got a couple of those late, but you've seen Dominic McKinley come in there and make something happen too. So LSU, man, really they did a stellar job defensively to slow this team down. And based on what we seen last week from Oklahoma, they were really doing some positive stuff. And of course, you look at what they had going on. Jackson Arnold, 14-21, had 110 yards, not much going on there, trying to throw the ball, but a lot of what he did was just basically on the ground, trying to churn and keep them going. And LSU just turned him into a one-man band, 17 scrambles for 75 yards. Their other runner was Sam Franklin, 6 for 61. Xavier Robinson got the only rushing touchdown on 10 carries for 20 yards. He was pretty much held up. So like I said, if you removed the Jackson Arnold 75 yards, LSU's defense actually did a pretty stellar job there. Jacob Jordan, with their top wide receiver, 6 for 42. So like I said, LSU had a very good performance, both offense and defense, to be able to really beat Oklahoma. They gave them a good old-fashioned ass whooping. But like I said, it kind of happened. LSU just turned the spigot off on them and just took them to the woodshed and handled business. So got to give them credit on that, man. They did a very good job in getting a W tonight for the Tigers. Like I said, man. So anyway, you know what, we still going through the breakdown. Y'all tell me, where do you think the Tigers end up? What bowl game do they get? What do you guys think? Where are we going bowling? Where's LSU going bowling? You know, we're gonna have to look at the projections. We might pull them up here tonight. Matter of fact, I might as well pull them up and see what the bowl projections are, and it'll be all over the place until some of these other games are settled. But it was a very interesting day of football for in the this week, right? Very interesting. So anyway, let's take a look at that, man, as we keep it going here and hit some of this stuff with the scoreboard right here after LSU's win here. Oregon right now is beating the hell out of Washington 42-14. Oregon is the top team in the country right now, and they're well on their way to finishing undefeated at 12-0. Texas right now are up by 10 over Texas A&M 17-7 at the start of the fourth quarter. You have Kansas right now losing to Iowa State with 13 minutes. They just started in the fourth, 26-21. Nevada got beat down by UNLV 38-7. Well, they're getting beat down. There's still about 11, almost 12 minutes left to go in the game. Houston and BYU in the first, no score there. Indiana plastered Purdue 66-0, man. Of course, Purdue had one win on the season. Indiana ran over them. Michigan with a win over Ohio State 13-10, and then they had this mega brawl that broke out. Police had to break out pepper spray and every damn thing as Michigan was able to beat Ohio State. You want to talk about a grudge match? Michigan, that's really not good this year, but they were able to beat that rival, so that's why they play these games, right? That was a huge win by Michigan. And, of course, Penn State beat Maryland 44-7. They beat them. Notre Dame, fifth in the nation, were able to beat USC 49-35. Syracuse in the shocker beats the 6th-ranked Miami team 42-38. There is McCord, the quarterback, is getting some looks too. Of course, Tennessee handled business against Vanderbilt 36-23. SMU beats California 38-6. South Carolina edged out Clemson by 17-14. Auburn in the Iron Bowl against Alabama, they lose 28-14. Arizona State, 16th ranked, beat Arizona 49-7. 28-21. Missouri over Arkansas. Illinois by 10 over Northwestern 38-28. And that's the days happening. Of course, Tulane did lose on Thursday, man, to Memphis 34-24. So that was a tough loss by LSU, man, as well. And of course, we know about the Georgia matchup that happened on Friday. Georgia just sneaked by Georgia Tech 44-42. Boise State 34-18 over Oregon State. Ole Miss beats Mississippi State 26-14. 52-0 Oklahoma. And these were the games, the top 25 games over this past week of action in college for week number 14. And among the winning circle for LSU, of our squad, LSU, they finished the season strong with a 37-17 win over the Oklahoma team. And I don't know we have to wait and see exactly what's going to be going on with LSU going forward in terms of, I've heard them that they mentioning Garrett Nussmeier could possibly be coming back for I don't know. I got a mixed feelings about that, about him returning again. And I don't know. I think maybe it's time for him to go head on. If there's just saying, man, we done seen enough shit. Take your ass on, man. We done seen enough, man. We done seen enough. Maybe it's time for somebody else to kind of step up. And that's usually what they do. They'll go to the transfer portal. That's how we found Joey Burrow. That's how we found Jaden Daniels. We found these guys in the portal. So why not do the same thing we've been doing, is go and see if we can find some of these goddamn guys in the portal and go from there. That's what I'm hoping to find out, please. I ain't mad at what's his face, but damn, man, let's take it. Let's push past it. Let's go ahead on about our business. Let's move on, shall we? But anyway, let me kind of move on to this. Is some of the bold projections right here that's going on as they see it, according to CBS Sports. This is their bold projector, and this has got some of these teams lined up, as you can see right here. They have the college football playoff projections, as you can see. With matchups here, it's not completely finished, but what they do have for December the 20th and 24th, Oregon lined up with Arizona State according to the projections. Notre Dame against Indiana, Texas and SMU, Penn State and Tennessee. We'll see how this plays. And then the rest of the bowl games, you can see right here, all of these other teams. And then you scroll on, you see LSU lined up December the 31st in the Texas Bowl. Big 12 versus SEC in Houston, Texas against TCU. So that is one of the bold projections that they are pushing for the 31st of this, next month, very shortly. It'll be this month, December. It'll be against who they presume will be TCU. We'll see, but that's what some of the bold projections have and are throwing out. And then, of course, let me see what Tulane. They got Tulane December the 23rd, Myrtle Beach Bowl. And they have Liberty lined up with Tulane. So that's a couple of the games we have there. Louisiana, Raging Cajuns in the New Orleans Bowl against Sam Houston State. That's another projection as well. So we'll see how it all fares out. And this does seem like it's pretty credible, to be honest with you. That does sound right. But we'll see what the official situation is. But the projecting have LSU lined up for the Texas Bowl, against TCU. So that's all very interesting, and we'll find out exactly how that all will go. But anyway, we're going to get ready to go to Coach Kelly momentarily so we can hear his game thoughts on what's going on with the team. But anyway, man, listen, very, very happy for the win. A very good way to close out the regular season. Of course, like I said, we got the bowl game left where they can try to get 9 wins. Still a lot of good recruiting news we're going to cover and talk about as we move forward. A lot of positive stuff. They had a lot of recruits at this game that came to see LSU and Oklahoma. So that is also very positive to see, what pops and snaps there. And like I said, man, we might have lost Underwood, but at the end of the day, the reality is we usually get our guys from the portal. That's worked for us with Joey B. That work with us with Jaden Daniels. And perhaps it works again. Now, like I said, Nussmeier's supposed to be, his rumors that he's supposed to be coming back another year. I would prefer us moving a different direction, but we'll see, man. We'll see how it all fares as out. But this is by far this is definitely Brian Kelly's most difficult year as a head coach, getting 8 wins on the regular season, 9 with a bowl win if possible. And he does have a really good recruiting class coming here. It's going to be interesting. We got a lot of people that's going to be leaving via the draft. So a lot of that will be discussed as we move forward, going into the rest of the season. But yeah, we still got some business on tap to take care of, which is whatever the bowl game is going to be. So anyway, big ups to you guys. Appreciate you being in the stream. And like I said, we all good, man. Yeah. Shout out to you, True Ro. Big ups to you, man. Hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving too, man. We did. It was hanging with family and friends, man. Had some time off, but at the end of the day, man, listen, man, you just look forward, man. You're like, damn, man, them days went by kind of damn fast. But it's all good, man. Anyway, but yeah, there's great points to talk about. Kind of recap on the regular season with LSU. The fact, how do you guys feel about Nussmeier? Did he change your mind about what you thought he was coming into the year? I mean, he's pretty much what I thought he was going to be. He had an opportunity to go through a full regular season of action. He got a strong arm. He makes a lot of mistakes. He talked about needing to scramble more. He got that way too late. And I thought a lot of times he does have a good pair of wheels on him if he can just get out of trouble. At times, he just didn't use that enough. Kyron Lacey, CJ Daniels, and all these other guys, Aaron Anderson, they really stepped up in the wide receiver role. It wasn't what we were accustomed to in the superstars, that we've seen, like Jamar Chase and Jefferson and all these guys. They're phenomenal, but Kyron Lacey did a pretty decent job this year. We didn't really truly have the complement. We were dealing with injuries for most of the year. Mason Taylor, it just was solid all year long. Our offensive line was kind of up and down. I think that's a big part. We anticipated our offensive line doing a lot better job. Wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I thought our offensive line would dominate in college, would dominate in the nation. We did have some drop off there, dealing with some of the injuries that did hit, but ultimately, a very kind of a mixed bag there. Caden Durham was turned out to be the best running back we had. We had to kind of, discover Caden Durham. He kind of stepped in there well into the season, started getting some runs, and he became the top back in the rotation with him and Williams. And even though Williams got more carries tonight, Caden Durham is obviously track level speed, fast, can catch out the backfield. He's a weapon. Getting him there. Imagine if we would have had him in that consistent rotation to start out the year. There was kind of a mixed bag to find out who the top back was going to be. He, got through that kind of later in the year. Also, just the defense was another thing too. Not being able to stop the running game. That's another thing that kind of was symptomatic and problematic of the previous year. It would have some improvement. The secondary improved. Zy Alexander and others did a wonderful job. Here's Coach Kelly, fam. Put one in the chat if you can hear.
Well, I'm proud of my team. Last 2 weeks, they listened to the narratives out there that they weren't excited to play for anything, that the season was over, and they simply went out and played inspired football the last 2 weeks. They put consistent performances together over the last 2 weeks. And really proud of their performance. They played well against Vanderbilt and they played well against Oklahoma. Both those teams beat a team in Alabama that we lost to. So just really proud of our football team, proud of the way they prepared this week. And, they're 19. This team over 3 years is 19-2 at home. So, whatever camp you want to jump into, go right ahead. We had 5 freshmen and 2 sophomores on defense today, playing their tails off. So, again, we're taking receipts and, we'll see you at the national championship. This team's building. We're excited about them, and we're really proud of them. So with that, we'll open up the questions.
Coach Brian Kelly. Back here. Garrett Nussmeier goes out with an injury, comes back, shows a lot of grit and toughness. What did you see from him, especially coming back after that injury?
Grit and toughness. Look, what you want as a coach is you want them to resemble, the traits that you think championship teams should have. And at times you've got to have some grit and resolve. Like, when they're talked about in a manner that they have been over the past, 2-3 weeks, you want them to buckle down and bite on their chin, their mouth guard, and go out there and play. And that's what they did. And that's what he did. Listen, that's an easy tap out for most people, right? That's an easy one to say, I'm not coming back. But that's the kind of player he is. That's the kind of competitor he is.
Coach, right here with Chris Hilton, did it just feel like a performance was like this was sort of coming for him, and what sort of allowed him to be successful today?
Well, I think we've talked about this all year, that the deep threat has been missing from our offense, and it's been difficult. Teams have sat down on us. Teams have made it difficult for us because we haven't had that vertical threat. He was out 8 weeks, and it takes a while to get back into rhythm. And we either missed him on overthrows or, the timing wasn't quite where it needed to be, but it normally takes about 4 weeks to kind of get that. That's why you have preseason camp, and he missed all that time. I'm happy for him. He got the game ball, and he made 2 big plays. That's part of the offense that we were missing, and we needed desperately. And when you can push the ball down the field and have the other options that we have within our offensive structure, it allows you to run the football, allows you to have that intermediate passing game, and then the vertical stretch is, it was huge for us, so we're happy to see that for Chris.
Brian, you waited all year for a kick return for a touchdown, and Aaron Anderson's tonight busted one. Just talk about, it came in a key part of the game when you really needed it.
It did. It was a momentum turn for us. There's no doubt about it. And, putting Aaron back there was really, he was our backup. That's how smart we are, right? Xavier got dinged up and wasn't able to go. And, Aaron steps in there and has an electric return. And really, you're right. It was a momentum boost for us, and it really carried us, throughout the game.
Brian, can you talk to me about your linebackers? What is Keys and Weeks, and what do they do for the rest of your defense that really lets them play?
Well, we've been playing with 3 linebackers now for 3 weeks, and Devon's a freshman. There are things that look, he makes some plays, but he's a sound football player. He's assignment correct, and we trust him. And you've got a freshman out there. Don McKinley was not blockable tonight. Another freshman, Ahmad Bro, was outstanding. PJ Woodland was outstanding. Gabe Relaford played. There's 4 freshmen right there, making impact. So, when we think that, we're ready to sink, you've got 5 freshmen that are playing in the SEC, and, they're 5-3 in the SEC. Look, I know what the standards are here, right? Everybody wants to win every game. We wanted to win every game. We're not happy if we lose a game, but we're happy about the foundation of this program, playing with young players that are only going to get better, and we're going to supplement those players. And it was good to see them compete at a high level.
Coach, to your left.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's more on Aaron Anderson, his improvement from last year to this year. It seems like most of your explosive plays this year, he had a large hand in those. What kind of example has he set for other guys to get better?
Well, he's not in that example setting mode yet. What he's in right now is the developmental role relative to, how to do things on a consistent basis. And I'm proud of him. He's made incredible strides. Everything that he does now is he's understanding how to take care of his body, how to eat right, nutrition, sleep right. And I can't wait to continue to work with him. It's really exciting. And what he's doing is making plays on the field, and we can see his raw talent, and it's only going to get better. He is just scratching the surface of where he can be. And so as a coach, you're just so excited. And he, on the other hand, can't wait to get into the off season and reshape his body and work on the things that he needs to. So this is really an exciting time for him in his development.
Ryan, you talk about, building the foundation and playing all these freshmen. What else, in addition to that, gives you confidence moving forward in what this team can be long term?
What else would you like me to give you? I mean, there's 7 players with 1 year experience on defense that just beat the pants off of Oklahoma. That's pretty good. And they beat a really good Vanderbilt team the week before. So, they're 5-3. We played a lot of young players this year. And so, when you take the body of work, we had 3 games that we had the lead late in the third quarter or we'd be talking about are we going to host, so look, I could go on and on about, here's where we're going to be in January. In January, well, I'll back up. Yesterday at the hotel, 21 true freshmen made the travel roster. 21 true freshmen. We're going to introduce 16 mid-year freshmen into this roster. We're going to have 37 freshmen in winter conditioning for the first time. That's what our roster looks like. That's exciting. So when you're talking about the foundation for your program, that coupled with having key players come back, they haven't announced yet, but we're going to have some key players decide to come back. That's what's pretty exciting. And when we are finished with this roster will compete at the highest level.
Hey, Coach, here in the back, you talked about the confidence. You immediately said confidence and inspired football there. When you look back on the 3-game losing streak and you play up to par tonight, how humbling were those losses to get you here?
Humbling would not be the word I would use. I would say that they lacked the execution necessary when we needed it most. And so they were frustrating more than they were humbling. Humbling losses are more like the Alabama game, where you didn't play your best football. Those are humbling losses. The 3 losses that we had outside the Alabama game would be much more frustrating because you had a chance to win those games and you really should have won those games, including the USC game where we had the lead, up to the last possession. So those were frustrating losses because we didn't execute when we needed to execute and we were capable of doing so.
You said see you at the national championship. You talking about like next year or near future or what?
What do you think? What do you think? Look, listen. Here's my point. The standard is the standard here, right? The standard. I didn't come down here to go 8-4. I'm not happy about 8-4. Okay, nobody in that room is happy about being 8-4. What they're happy about is they've played well after a 3-game losing streak and they bounce back. And this game teaches you lessons about grit and toughness and perseverance and not giving up and letting go of the rope, right? They easily could have fractured, right? Instead, they stuck together and they stayed committed and they beat 2 teams that were really good football teams in this league and have pelts to show that they are good teams, right? We're not making that narrative up. So at the end of the day, we want to win every game we play. And the standard at LSU and at Alabama, they're not happy with 3 losses at Alabama. Georgia's not happy with 2 losses. Nobody's happy when they lose a game. But what I'm happy about in the short term is the way our guys responded to adversity. That's why I came in here and said I'm proud of our football team and the way they responded to adversity. The big picture is I'm excited about our future, regardless of what people seem to think. And that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, but nobody knows what it looks like from the inside. I've got the best perspective of that. And you can write away and have your own opinions, and that's fine. That's why you guys have a pulpit to do that. I have a better perspective of it. I don't listen to what you have to say, and we're going to build it the way we know that we're going to build it, and I'll see you in the national championship game.
You have time for two more?
Right here, Coach. You mentioned the deep passing game and just some, the overthrows. There have certainly been times this season where Garrett has been off target with that. Did anything change recently mechanically or from a coaching standpoint to where it was better this game?
We've been working on it, and he's not there yet. I mean, we missed some throws today, too, you saw, and some of those are mechanical. But, there's another guy that is so committed to, being better at those things. And this first year of competition for him really was a window toward what are those things that he'll be working on in the off season. So when he, hopefully comes back next year, can take that next step.
Scooter, you got the last one.
I'll ask the tough one.
Oh, Scooter, you always ask the tough ones.
Who makes the call on what uniform combination you go with?
Fashion man.
There's only one call. It's our leadership council. So we have 26 representatives that represent all of the classes, and they make the decision at the start of the season as to what uniforms they want to wear. We have different combinations that they can wear. I don't really care what they wear, as long as it's uniforms that are prescribed by the university, and we wear them accordingly.
Thank you, Coach.
Good. All right. Thank you.
All right. It's Brian Kelly, man. Breaking it down, Coach Kelly. Kind of doing this thing right there, man. And, of course, got a little peeved right quick. But nonetheless, LSU gets the win 37-17 over Oklahoma. They finish them off. We move forward into the bowl time. So that's a pretty good one. LSU finishes the season, the regular season, with 2 wins over Vandy and now Oklahoma, which is positive for LSU, to be quite honest with you. And Coach Kelly's talking about trying to bring hopefully some of the guys that he's talking about. I think in particular is Garrett Nussmeier, who probably would be the guy that he's hoping comes back, and that's been something he mentioned it 4 or 5 days ago. And of course we know that he can go to the draft to basically opt to return for a 5th year. And if you are a gambling person, what would you think Garrett Nussmeier does? He's going to opt to return to LSU, which is Coach Kelly's pushing. He's talking about all the youth, the recruiting class. Not really excited about that. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not really excited about that, but we'll see how it all goes, man. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode of Tough Tiger Talk, man. We appreciate you for chiming in. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. LSU, man, finishes the regular season 8-4, 5-3 in conference play in the season finale. On to bowling. Like we just covered, the projectors have LSU lined up for the Texas Bowl on December the 31st against TCU. That's in Houston, Texas at 3:30 p.m. on December the 31st. So that's just a little bit. That's not official. That's just one of the CBS Bowl projectors have it. There are others, but that's probably one of the main ones. But anyway, with that being said, we're going to get out on this. Please feel free, like I said, to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share the show on your social media feed. Much love. Go Tigers.